Now, if someone becomes addicted to drugs, it is, of course, a personal tragedy for that individual. But there are hidden victims as well. They're close family members. Emma Thomas reports.
Yeah, so you start off, well, I started drinking, then I started smoking weed, and I've done MDMA and pills, and then you do cocaine, and then you do like ketamine.
When did his personality start to change?
When he started taking drugs.
Goes from like casual, social drinking or smoking to, sort of like dependency, really.
Over 2 million people in the southeast have been affected by the drug or alcohol use of someone they know.
Well, Sonny did a music course at Northbrook and, he was good at producing music. And I came into some money and I bought him a mini recording studio for his bedroom.
I just remember I just sold it all.
He started taking equipment out of his bedroom to sell it, to pay off debt.
And, I just started seeing my room just start to deteriorate.
And his bedroom became a graveyard. It was a bed and a table.
I might as well just had a mattress on the floor. There was nothing in there.
With Sonny spiralling into addiction, it had a huge impact on his family. But whereas drug addicts obviously need help, families are often overlooked, even though the effect on them can be equally devastating. Vivian Evans runs AdFam, a charity that helps families affected by drug and alcohol addiction. They recently commissioned research which showed families face a range of problems.
It's a huge effect on relationships, stress and trauma, that conflict that's created in relationships. And that can be, I'm not just talking about partner, couple relationships, I'm talking about any family relationships.
According to the AdFam research, 1 in 5 adults have experienced relationship difficulties because of someone else's substance use.
You're put under extreme pressure, where they just want money for a fix. And, I can remember Sonny wanting £100 and I was standing no, not to give it. And he bashed up a light switch, in frustration, and then went out and then came back again, still wanting the £100. And in the end, you give it because you want that situation removed.
It tore my relationship apart with my mum. I started getting violent with her, it's taking money, that's not nice. It's not a way you should treat anyone, especially your mum, and she's all I got.
Just like Susie and Sonny, many families across the UK find themselves in desperate, unimaginable situations with no one to turn to.
We've had to pay debts, money that's owed to people for drugs. You get involved in a cycle of supply, really, and so in a way you're like the main enabler. So technically I would say that I, for a long time, enabled my son because of the addiction.
But how did Sonny's dependency on drugs begin in the first place? Well, Susie says it can be traced back to when Sonny's brother Hootie died when they were both at a very young age.
He knew something had happened because obviously he was pointing and looking for his brother and emptying cupboards and, pointing at the sofas and tipping off the cushions. And I can remember being on a bus and this boy asked Sonny if he'd got brothers and sisters. And Sonny said, yes, I've got a brother who's in heaven.
I didn't know what was going on when he died, you know. I was only a baby, really. Like, we were both babies.
We went to celebrate Hoodie's 21st birthday at, you know, where his ashes are, in Findon. Sonny just, the loss of not having a brother just hit him really, really hard. And I believe that's when Sonny went on a real nosedive and got involved with all kinds of drugs. He was just not a happy boy. He was just not happy. He was just not happy.
On his 21st birthday, it really hit me. My life just fell apart, really.
The drugs have provided Sonny with an escape, but they took their toll on his mum. Vivian Evans from the AdFam charity says support for families affected by addiction is hard to come by.
There is support for family members, it does exist, but it's largely delivered through drug and alcohol treatment services. And the challenge there is that these treatment services have limited funding, and family support tends to be a bit of an adjunct, a bit of a Cinderella service. So even if they can afford to provide support for family members, it's only for those family members whose loved ones are actually going through the treatment. That treatment can perhaps be 6 or 8 weeks. Family members tell us that their support is needed over a very, very long period of time. What we find also is that family members, because of the stigma that's attached to it, they find these services, even if they do exist, difficult to access because they feel they can't speak out.
But despite the challenges, Sonny's getting support and is trying to turn his life around. He's decided to share his story to help other families, and there are a few things he wants to say to his mum.
I'd just like to say, Mum, I'm really sorry for how I've treated you in the past. I really am. You know, you don't deserve it, and you're such a strong woman. You really are.
Wow. Well, thank you, Sonny, because it takes guts to say what you just said. That takes strength. So I'm not going to hold grudges against you, Sonny. I'm not that sort of person. And I admire the fact that you can put your hand up and say what you've said, and especially to go publicly with it, because it's not an easy thing to do.
But now for Susie and Sonny, things are starting to change. Sonny recently had bad news about friends of his. It was a wake-up call.
Last few weeks since my mates died, we had 3 mates that died in the last 6 weeks, and that's hit home really now. And I just enough's enough, you know. Or you're just going to end up, you know, I'm going to end up dead myself.
So now Sonny has been in recovery for 3 months.
Do you think that maybe sort of like losing 3 friends recently has sort of struck a chord with you? Because that's powerful, Sonny. That is powerful. And sometimes it's like a traffic light moment. It can hit you in the face of how fragile we are. Because it could have been you.
Could have been me.
It could have been you, Sonny.
I'm like a boomerang now, always come back.
He does. He'll be back. You always know he'll be back.
As we've heard, the charity AdFam want more to be done to help the close family of drug addicts, not just the addicts themselves. And maybe people like Susie and Sonny can look forward to a brighter future. For details of organisations which offer advice and support, go online to bbc.co.uk/Action Line.
Emma Thomas reporting.